hijo Vargas. No te rajes, Jalisco.
Welcome to Detroit Opera Presents podcast. This is Arthur White coming to you from the Detroit Opera House. We are thrilled you have joined us for this series of conversations focused on performances presented at the Detroit Opera House. Today, we will speak about Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán of Mexico, the world's most celebrated mariachi ensemble, who will be in concert on May 9th at the Detroit Opera House. And I'm so pleased to be joined by Miss Cynthia Muñoz, the producer of Mariachi Extravaganza, a competition of all things mariachi in their 32nd year, and producer of quality Latino cultural arts programming. Welcome, Cynthia. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure, Arthur. Thank you for having me. We're so excited to be in Detroit on May 9th. Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán is known as the greatest mariachi in the world, or el Mejor Mariachi del Mundo. And much of that is due to their 125 plus years of existence over the course of 6 generations. This group started back in 1897 with just 3 musicians that included the violin, the harp, and the guitarra del golpe, and it grew over the years. They incorporated the trumpet in the 1930s, 1940s. They started producing music that was incorporated into very popular Mexican films in the 1950s. They were under the leadership of Maestro Rubén Fuentes for over 60 years, up until the time he passed just a few years ago. They are a highly accomplished group that has toured and performed as solo artists, but also with very renowned artists like Linda Ronstadt in her popular tour in the 1980s, Canciones de mi Padre, and then, of course, Luis Miguel, which they toured with just more recently all over the world. This group has recorded hundreds of albums and recordings where they are accompanying other artists. They have probably thousands of recordings altogether and are 14 musicians that are made up of some of the greatest vocalists and musicians in the world.
Wow. Well, thanks for that history, Cynthia. Tell me, when was the very first time you heard Mariachi Vargas?
The very first time I heard Mariachi Vargas was back in 1979. At that time, I was a student of mariachi music, performing with the San Antonio Independent School District All-District Mariachi Group. And it was the start of the very first Mariachi Music Festival here in San Antonio. And it was a life-changing moment for me. It was a magical moment. Hearing Mariachi Vargas made me feel like we have such a beautiful culture, and they represented the very best of our culture. And it was mariachi music at a whole nother level. It was like being used to seeing a high school orchestra as compared to the New York Symphony. It was a huge difference and a huge jump for me in seeing professional mariachi musicians for the very first time. And more importantly, they just kind of made the hair on my arms go up because it was just so beautiful to me. And it was, again, a life-changing moment that has lasted forever.
Fantastic. I have to tell you a real quick story. I grew up in Chicago. We're Catholics. And so we grew up in a neighborhood, a multicultural neighborhood. There was African-American and a lot of immigrants from Mexico. And so our masses would be bilingual. So from very early on, I was just used to singing in Spanish. And on the special occasions, Christmas, Easter, they'd bring the mariachi bands to the church, and I sang in the choir. So they would let me sing, a couple of solos with the mariachi. So it was always my goal to be a mariachi singer when I grew up. And so I'm just so excited that Mariachi Vargas will be in Detroit. I can't wait. But let me ask you this question. Tell me about Nueva Generación. How did you end up starting Mariachi Nueva Generación?
I started producing the Mariachi Extravaganza Music Festival back in 1995. And it's continued for the past 32 years. Throughout these years, we have seen thousands of student artists from middle school, high schools, colleges, and universities involved in mariachi music programs that come to the festival to compete. And so it's going to be really exciting to see Mariachi Nuevo Generación from Texas State University in San Marcos, which is just right outside of San Antonio, open for Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán and accompany two of our vocal winners, Alison Contador and Isabella Gonzalez, who will also be performing together. And what we're going to see is the best of the very best at the collegiate level among mariachi programs nationwide with Mariachi Nueva Generación.
Fantastic. And speaking of these young artists, we should probably lead right into our two special guests. I'm going to start off by introducing our very first guest. She is the first place winner in the college vocal division of the 31st annual Mariachi Extravaganza competition. She hails from Roma, Texas. She is currently studying biology at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. She's been competing in the Mariachi Extravaganza since she was in middle school, and she's here to tell us a bit about her experiences and why this all is so important to her. Let's please welcome Isabella Gonzalez. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It is great being here.
And also with us today is Jonathan Palomar. He is a vocalist and guitarist with the world-renowned and Mexico City-based Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán. But he wears many hats. He is a recording artist. He is a touring artist, not only with Vargas, but also a solo artist on his own. And he is also the artistic director for the Mariachi Extravaganza here in San Antonio and Las Vegas. He also is a maestro of mariachi music and wears many hats, and it's quite an honor to be here with him. Isabella, tell us, where are you from?
So I'm from Roma, Texas. It's a very small town located along the U.S.-Mexican border. And growing up there, it meant being surrounded by a strong sense of culture and tradition and community. It's a place where people really support one another, and these values had such a long-lasting impact on who I am today. And like now, I attend the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh, which is just a few hours away from my hometown. Being away from Roma has really allowed me to start growing independently and pursue new opportunities while still carrying with me the values and experiences that has shaped me. So no matter where I go, my hometown always remains as an important part of my identity and always continues to influence me every day for my goals and my perspectives.
That's fantastic, Isabella. I just want to turn to Jonathan if I can. Now, Jonathan, you come from a pretty rich history. I understand your father had previously been a member of Mariachi Vargas, I think between the 80s up to about 2003. Can you talk about your lineage with your father, Rafael?
Yeah, sure. Well, in mariachi-wise, I'm fourth generation mariachi musician in my family. So it all started with my great-grandfather, my grandpa. He was a mariachi director. He had his own mariachi. It was called Mariachi Los Charros de Ameca. Ameca is a little town in Jalisco, at the southern Jalisco, I think. And that was his mariachi. He was a composer as well. He composed one of the songs that you can hear everywhere. If you get a mariachi play, you'll get to hear a mariachi loco. So that's his. And and my dad, he was part of the fourth generation of Mariachi Vargas. He started, I think, in, not sure of the year, but it was around 82, 83. And he was a member until 2003. Sí, soy de hecho cuarta generación de músico de mariachi con mi familia. Mi bisabuelo empezó como creo que era trompetista en una banda del pueblo de Ameca, Jalisco. Mi abuelo tuvo su propio mariachi junto con sus hermanos que se llamaba Charros de Ameca. que es un pueblo pequeño al sur de Jalisco. También él era compositor y compuso uno de los temas que son más populares en una fiesta de gente que contrata un mariachi, que es el mariachi loco. Mi padre también fue parte de la cuarta generación del Mariachi Vargas, como del 83 al 2003, y yo soy parte de la sexta generación.
Fantastic. Isabella, can I go back to you and ask you a question? When I was in my conversation with Cynthia, she told me that so many competition winners, Mariachi Extravaganza, have come out of Roma, Texas. Is there something in the water, or what's going on in Roma that so many fantastic singers are coming out of that city?
Well, honestly, being in Roma is just like there's so much dedication, so much sport. Like I feel everybody there really just has it. Like they have the talent, they have the dedication, they want to push. And I mean, there is no secret. It's just a bunch of hard work, just putting in the time. And really, anybody can do it. Hard work always beats talent. It is what it is.
So Roma sits right on the border between Texas and Mexico. So Isabella can literally throw a rock from her home and that rock will land in Mexico. That's how close she is. It's in Starr County. It's a small city with about 10,000 people in the city. And it seems to me that almost everyone is involved in music and the arts. It's an area of South Texas that really embraces the arts and
Fantastic.
culture.
So, Jonathan, can I go back to you if I may? So there's been so much of a buzz in Detroit about Mariachi Vargas. We've been talking about this for, I think, 2 years of having you guys return to Detroit. Can you give us a sense about what might we see and hear on Saturday, May 9th?
Sure. Well, we're going to play some of the most popular or traditional songs of Mariachi Vargas that people is always expecting to hear. Whenever they go see Mariachi Vargas, they always want to hear this specific song and this specific potpourri. So we're going to be doing stuff like that. We're going to be honoring a lot of Mexico's more the biggest figures in mariachi music from Mexico, like with Vicente Fernandez, Jose Alfredo Jimenez, Juan Gabriel. We're always going to be playing stuff from them, and Mariachi Vargas stuff also. And we have some new stuff that we want to present, because we're always looking to reach younger ears, to keep alive the mariachi music alive. So we always want to give them new music, fresh music with mariachi. So there's going to be a few new stuff that we're going to present. Y sí, Mariachi Vargas siempre toca los temas tradicionales que la gente espera de Mariachi Vargas. Ya la gente que va a ver al Mariachi Vargas esperan siempre escuchar ciertos temas. Queremos a este popurrí o queremos esto, y siempre los tenemos que tocar. Pero también estamos llevando temas nuevos, temas frescos. Un poco estamos introduciéndolos para tener oídos nuevos, para que la música de mariachi siga viva y que los jóvenes se acerquen a escuchar la música de mariachi.
And if you don't mind, Jonathan, can you also go into a little bit of information about the different styles of songs, like the ranchera, the son, and, talk a little bit about those styles?
Sure. Well, there's a few styles that we do in mariachi. Isabella probably know all of them. We do the traditional sones that we usually play. We do the rancheras, which we all know. It's some kind of raw organic music with those themes like the sadness or the happiness, just because it's a beautiful morning or something like that. We can do guapangos, which is one of the styles that are not founder, but one of our big director, Ruben Fuentes. He created those styles, the guapangos, the Ruben Fuentes guapangos. And we also do some boleros, which are like ballads, soft, mellow kind of songs. So we're gonna do all of those. You're gonna find all of those styles in our show. Normalmente hacemos de todo tipo de estilos en nuestro show, que es sones, pueden ser sones jaliscienses, sones de todos lados que hay en México, y rancheras que normalmente en sus letras hablan un poco más orgánicos, un poco más acerca de como la vida. Pueden hablar desde que un bello es el día, o pueden hablar desde describir una vaca, la vaquilla, o el becerro, just animals, you know. We can do songs about all those things. También hacemos los guapangos, que de hecho nuestro director general musical, don Rubén Fuentes, creó esos guapangos, ese estilo. Él fue lo creó, lo perfeccionó para mariachi. Es no sé, no lo podría describir, es una combinación entre ritmos como sudamericanos con una mezcla de mariachi, algo así. Él creó ese estilo, los guapangos. Y también boleros, que son baladas, que son un poquito, cosas un poco más lentas, más suaves, más bonitas, románticas.
Fantastic. So, Isabella, can I ask you another question? When the concert happens on May 9th at the Detroit Opera House, what will you be performing? I know there's the big song that you won the competition in. Would that be one of the pieces you might be singing? Could you talk about that?
Yes, the song is called Cuando el Destino. It tells a story about a man confronting his former lover after a heartbreak, and how she's now the one suffering while he mocks her pain. But in the song, it includes how like destiny is like unforgiving justice, like todo cobra y nada olvida, and like the humiliation of love and like the satisfaction of payback, like que bonita es la venganza cuando Dios nos la concede. It's just like a piece that allows me to express this strong emotion and to connect deeply with the audience. And it's just something I always like strive for in my performances.
Wow, fantastic. I remember earlier before you guys had come on, Cynthia and I were talking, and she was giving a bit of a history of Mariachi Vargas, and I was fascinated how over all the sort of the generations, the group has just sort of adapted to some of the changing times. Whether it was the first recordings with RCA, or adding different instrumentations like the trumpet around the 1940s, I think it was. But I wanted to talk about Linda Ronstadt, sort of collaborating with Mariachi Vargas. And I assume that was probably, your father would have probably been a member about that time, Jonathan. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Just like what you said, mariachi music is always evolving. And actually, that one fun fact about that collaboration with Linda Ronstadt is that when she reached Mariachi Vargas people to do something, Ruben Fuentes, he started writing for her, and he did something like super like crazy, like he was putting everything there in the music. And when she first listened to those arrangements, she said, "No, I want something like more Mexican, more like traditional." So they started everything again. They started doing everything just like very like super traditional. If you listen to those recordings, there's two different recordings. They're very, very, very traditional, and it took forever to do those two recordings because they were arranging on the same day and they were recording. So they would spend like months doing those record sessions, and it was like a beautiful thing. I think for all the girls that sing mariachi music, like Isabella, the recordings that Linda Ronstadt did are very like important. They're like something that they always base their performances on what she did.
Wow.
Sí, mi papá fue parte de esa gira de Linda Ronstadt. Una cosa muy particular de esa gira es que cuando Linda Ronstadt, un nombre tan grande como el de Linda Ronstadt, se acercó a Mariachi Vargas a querer hacer un proyecto, Rubén Fuentes, siendo quien era un músico muy grande, hizo unos arreglos muy sofisticados, muy grandes, muy sofisticados. Cuando se los presentaron a ella, cuando ella escuchó los arreglos, ella dijo, no quiero esto, yo quiero que se escuche como mariachi, como más México, más tradicional, no tan sofisticado. Ella no quería, ella quería más raw, más organic, that's what she wanted, como más natural. Y así fue como salieron esas dos grabaciones que tomaron mucho tiempo, duraron meses para poderlas grabar. Este, y sí, justamente como Isabela, muchas jóvenes cantantes de nuestra música mexicana toman estas grabaciones de Linda Ronstadt como una base importante para ellas. Ellas escuchan cómo hizo ella muchos de estos temas y todavía hay muchos en las competencias en Extravaganza que yo escucho que cantan canciones de esas grabaciones.
Well, I'm wondering, since we're talking about this evolution with Mariachi Vargas, I'm thinking of Bruno Mars. I understand. I think Cynthia Muñoz is a latest song he's come out with, or a single, I think, which I think, is it mariachi or is it it's like a rancheras song? Is it, Cynthia?
I would say that it is definitely a song that he sings in English that is heavily influenced by mariachi, and he includes mariachi music in that song and does it very well. It's
I think
beautiful.
I see a new recording coming up for a Grammy anytime now with Mariachi Vargas and Bruno Mars. That's great.
Isabella, tell us a little bit about the Mariachi Extravaganza and what does winning at this competition mean to you?
It honestly just means so much to me because it's one of the largest and most competitive mariachi vocal competitions in the nation. And the process itself is just really challenging with multiple stages, including your like initial entry, the semifinals, and the finals. So making it to the top was incredibly rewarding. And like beyond the title, it gave me opportunity to earn scholarships and to meet incredibly talented musicians from across the nation and to connect with respected artists in the mariachi community. And most importantly, it strengthened like my confidence, and it really just reassured me that I belong on the stage.
Fantastic. I also understand, Jonathan, we're going to hear from another fantastic on May 9th, another fantastic female vocalist, Alison Cantador. And I'm wondering, what has been the history? Is it unusual to have sort of female mariachi singers? Is it something that's pretty commonplace now? Is that what has sort of been the evolution of that?
No, it's pretty common. It's pretty common. There are great singers, such as Isabella. They're awesome. They're awesome. It's really a hard time sometimes if you're judging one of our competitions. It's super hard. I mean, I really don't want to be a judge anymore because it's really hard for me. Because I wish I could give them all the first place. Pero no, I mean it's pretty common. Also, since we were talking about Linda Ronstadt and everything, so it's something very usual that we get female mariachi vocalists in mariachi. And before that, even before that, we have some big names. Lola Beltran, Lucha Villa, Amalia Mendoza. Those are names probably that are only in Mexico, famous in Mexico, but they're really big and strong female vocalists. So yeah, it's very usual. It's very common. And I just want to add, like for example, I've seen Isabella's videos, Isabella's entries since she was in high school in Roma, and she has grown up so much, and her voice is amazing every time I get to listen to her. I'm actually very excited to hear both of them, Alison and her, all the time that they're gonna be joining us in every or any event that we're gonna be doing. It's a great experience to just listen to them. Sí, la voz femenina en el mariachi es muy común. De hecho, pues el nivel de nuestras vocalistas es muy fuerte, son muy buenas para cantar. Y yo no sé si antes en los Estados Unidos, pero de Linda Ronstadt para acá, creo que en los Estados Unidos se ha puesto muy fuerte la voz femenina en el mariachi. Pero va más atrás, en México tenemos cantantes muy famosas, muy grandes, muy fuertes de muchos años atrás, como lo que es Lola Beltrán, Lucha Villa, Amalia Mendoza, nombres muy grandes que han existido en la música de mariachi mexicana.
Can I just say something? Because I think like what was maybe not so common in Mexico was to see women actually playing in the mariachi group. And so there's a difference there, Arthur. When you're asking Jonathan, is it common to see women singing mariachi? Yes, it is. But in the history of mariachi music in Mexico, it was not common to see women actually playing an instrument in the group. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jonathan? Has that changed in Mexico recently? Or
A lot,
how do you?
definitely a lot. But I feel like that actually began more here in the United States. I mean, it's very common right now in nowadays to see those kind of mariachis in Mexico, or just all female mariachis, or it's now very common. But I think it all started that the female piece, or the female mariachi element. It started more here in the United States. I'm not sure where or how. They said it started in California with Nati Cano. Nati Cano, who was the founder of Grammy Award-winning Mariachi Los Camperos de Nati Cano. And I think he was I'm not sure, but he probably was the first that brought a female into a all-male piece mariachi. So something like that. I'm not sure.
I think it also started through the church, because when I got involved in mariachi music back in the 1970s through the church at San Jose Mission, it was women who were teaching me. It was the Orta family. There were a lot of women, and I remember a man coming up to me at Mass and saying, "Do you feel isn't it odd that you're a woman and you're playing mariachi music?" And I thought, no, I didn't know anything else. I only knew what I had seen here in San Antonio through the church. I didn't even know at that time that in Mexico, there were very few women that were actually playing mariachi music in a group. So, yeah, I think Jonathan's right. It is more of a U.S. that evolved here in the U.S. And I think that probably has the roots in the church that dates back to the 1960s and 70s.
Yeah. Actually, it reminds me of something. So Mariachi Vargas, Jonathan, is still based out of Mexico, but I believe you make your home in San Antonio, Texas, correct?
Correct.
Are most of the members either living in Mexico or making that their home? Are they back and forth, or like is there a breakdown?
Most of the elements live in Guadalajara, in Jalisco, but there's a few of us that live outside. There's a couple of us that live in the U.S. There's one violin player that Roberto Lopez. He lives in California, and myself here in Texas. So right now, since Mariachi Vargas is not like playing in one place all the time, we're always touring. We're always traveling. So actually, it's not like it's not hard for us to just meet at the place that we're gonna perform. So it is like that nowadays. It used to be different. They used to live at the same city. Actually, they used to live at the same probably street. There's a place in Mexico City that is called Aragon. It's like I don't know, like a little city town in Mexico City, and there's like I don't know, like 10 houses that used to be owned by members of I think it was second or third generation of Mariachi Vargas. So they used to live even like wall to wall back in the day. Now we just live everywhere.
God, that's the reality of the modern day life. You know, I was looking at some of the bios of some of the players, and so a couple of the players have been with the group a good amount of time, like 30 plus years, right? I'm wondering, so what's it been like? Sort of, obviously your father, of course, was in the group. What is it like, you know, sort of maybe learning from them or hearing their perspective, or maybe even watching them to sort of start to accept these sort of the changes that are happening in the evolution of, like we talked about Linda Ronstadt or maybe Bruno Mars. What has that been like, sort of a dynamic in the group?
It is really cool. Like when I was young, 15s or 14s, I used to see them in Mariachi Vargas, those guys that I'm playing with right now. So it was, for me, it was amazing. The day that they called me to be part of Mariachi Vargas, it was amazing. For me, it was like, I was so starstruck at the beginning. I cannot even believe right now that I am like friends with them. I can just talk to them like that and stuff. But yeah, I guess they have been witnesses of all that evolving of the music, since they have been part of There's like two guys from those times have been part of those of the most important tours of Mariachi Vargas, which is Linda Ronstadt and a few years back Luis Miguel. So it's really cool to be able to share with them all those stories that like you start talking to them and they can start telling you all these stories about music and about fun stuff they have lived through their life in Mariachi Vargas, and it's amazing. It's priceless.
Danielle and Enrique.
Yes, Daniela and Enrique. Correct.
Danielle Martinez,
Martinez,
he's a violinist and he's been with the group for
40 years.
40 years.
Yes.
And then Enrique de Santiago is the guitarron player, and he's been with the group for about
Around 35 years.
He's been
He's
carrying
a
that
senior
big guitar
boy.
around for 30 years.
And then there's a trumpet player,
Mhm.
Gustavo Alvarado, and he's also been with the group for over 30
Over
years.
30
So
years.
there's three of them that have more than 3 decades in Mariachi Vargas. But I think the one that holds the record is Victor Pato Cardenas, who was in the group for 50 years before he retired.
My goodness. That
Yeah.
must have been amazing.
I kind of would like to hear a little bit more about. I mean, Jonathan's traveled all over the world with Mariachi Vargas. They performed in Spain and France, and all over Latin America, all over the United States, either touring with an artist or on their own. But I would just like to ask him, what is one of your most memorable shows that you've done with Mariachi Vargas?
Well, there's quite a few. I would say probably when we play at the UN in Geneva, Switzerland. That was for me one of the most amazing experiences in my life to play there. With the audience was actually from the entire world. They were from everywhere, from South America, from Africa, from everywhere. So that was really fun. That's that was a show that helps you see that music doesn't really need translation. It just gives them the joy. Mariachi music, it's like that. And like you can feel the emotions just by listening to those chords, to those notes. You can or singing like what Isabella was saying, that just to sing about a failed marriage or something like that, and then you can translate through your sounds that you're doing, and it was so much fun. That was probably one of the I don't know, the greatest experiences in my life. That one.
Nice.
Mhm.
That was great, Jonathan. I love that.
Isabella, what are your future goals?
Right now, I'm focused on completing my biology degree and continuing towards a career in the healthcare field. I'm still like exploring like the exact path on what I really want to do, but I'm really committed to building a future where I can just help others. And at the same time, I'm just incredibly excited about the opportunity to perform at the Detroit Opera House. It's like a huge milestone for me. And like looking ahead, I would love to just share the stage with or even open for, some Mexican artists like Rosy Arango or Aida Cuevas that are kind of like Linda Ronstadt. And no matter where life takes me, like I really just hope to continue growing with music and both in my career and both in life.
Well, Isabella Gonzalez and Jonathan Palomar, how fantastic that you both were here to talk to us about what we're going to see and hear. We can't wait for your performance on May 9th. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you for everything. Glad to be here always. And thank you, Isabella. So good to see you. Excited to hear you over there. Thank you, Cynthia. It was a great experience and fun.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so excited and I can't wait to have so many memories and fun and get more confidence with this. Thank you so much.
Cynthia, how fantastic to have Isabella and Jonathan. That story about singing for or performing for the UN. Really, wow, that was a fantastic story.
Yes, it was, Arthur. And Detroit is in for a real treat with bringing all of these young artists together on the same stage with the world-renowned and Mexico City-based Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán at the beautiful Detroit Opera House. We are very much looking forward to another amazing, fantastic, magical show.
Well, fantastic. Cynthia, I can't tell you how fantastic this was that you joined me today for this look and to this glimpse of Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán. We hope to see all of you at this exciting performance on Saturday, May 9th at the Detroit Opera House.
Absolutely. And to purchase tickets or find more information about this performance, visit our website at detroitopera.org. You can also connect with us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Thank you, Jake Neer, for his assistance in producing this podcast, and we'll see you at the Detroit Opera House.
Me puedes ver en mis pupilas, no se puede esconder la soledad que han ido recogiendo. A tu mirada